A quick PMP checklist. Always you need to keep it by your side. Hello everyone, my name is Saudhanwar and I help people get PMP certified. Today I will be presenting to you a checklist for your PMP preparation. Keep that by your side and it 100% speed up your PMP preparation. So let's get into that straight away. So, whenever you are preparing for the PMP exam, the very first thing you need to have in your mind is your approach towards any question, any study material is value oriented. Your approach is value oriented. What brings more value to your organization? How you can get quicker results? First to the market. Customer satisfaction. There is one thing that is written on the slides and on the PM box. Project is not only what you are creating, the output. If I'm making the pen is my output. Project is not only about the output, but it is more inclined towards the outcome. What is the purpose of the pen? Who will be using it? How we can add more value of the pen in the life of the people who use it. So, the value oriented approach is always preferred for the PMP exam. Study more about it. That's your first point. Then, you must know everything about the project charter. Project charter is the first project document that initiates the project. It is usually approved by the project sponsor and it authorizes the project. It gives project manager the authority to start working on the project, to start using organizational resources. So that's the project charter. Study everything about the project charter. It also tells us the success criteria of the project, the objectives of the project. Always have this in mind. Study more about it. Then, one of the most important topic is the backbone of the PMP. I call it the backbone of the PMP is life cycle and development approach. Life cycle and development approach. Life cycle of the project is the project starts and the project ends. Very simple. But what about this development approach? Here you should know everything about what is predictive and what is adaptive. Or you can say the agile. Study more about it. What are the circumstances that predictive approach will be best for us? What are the circumstances that adaptive approach will be best for us? You need to master all. Study from the book, study from wherever you want. You will get a lot of questions where you need to suggest which approach will be good for you. Right? So that's the topic number 3. Then you must study all about team. How to create a team, how to manage the team, how to develop the team, what are the training requirements, what is the purpose of team charter, what is the purpose of RACI chart. Should know everything about the team, right? So that's your fourth point. Then You need to know the processes for, or I used to call it the steps for. You need to know the steps for, see, stakeholder and communication. What are the steps for stakeholder management? You identify the stakeholder, you do the analysis, you document in the stakeholder register. Every step you need to know. 5-6 steps. It should be on your fingertips. You should know the steps for creating baselines. There are 3 baselines. Means there is a scope baseline, there is a schedule baseline, there is a cost baseline. So you must know the steps for creating all these 3 baselines. Then you must know the steps for risk management, steps for quality management, and steps for procurement management. Right? What are the processes involved in it? What documents do we create? You must know, just like on your fingertips, you must know these steps. And then you must know the steps for managing changes, managing issues, and project closure. All the steps you need to know for these things. Then you must know all the concepts for agile. I call it how to work in an agile environment. How you are going to work in an agile environment, you must know everything about agile, such as your 4 values, your 12 principles, for the meetings in agile, the product backlog, the roles in agile, the purpose of DoD, the purpose of roadmaps, right? Everything. Product roadmap, right? Everything about agile, right? Velocity, points, story points, user stories, you name it, you need to master all the concepts about agile. Then the next thing is you need to know the monitoring concepts. How you are going to monitor the project. And for here, one very important thing that is coming these days, especially in the exam, is information radiators. Means, what are the information radiators? What is the purpose of information radiators? Displaying project information. What it does? Improves the performance of the team, right? Must know everything about that. What type of information radiator? The burn down chart, the burn up chart, what the burn down chart shows, what is the purpose of the burn up chart, everything you need to know for the PMP exam. And of course, the variance analysis when it comes to the monitoring, the forecast, everything about that you need to know. Okay, and then there is one of the video that I have made. You can watch it on the channel. It is the basic process flow. The basic process flow. That project starts with a project charter, and before the project charter there is a needs assessment and the business case. Once your project charter gets approved, you have a project management plan, and then you go and start executing the work. You monitor it, and then you create the deliverables. The deliverables goes into the verification process, then they go into the validation process. After passing through the validation process, they will get validated, accepted by the customer, and you go into the closure of the project where you whatever you have created, it is handed over. I just summarized that whole video in like 30 seconds or so. Keep that in mind, the basic process flow. And to be very honest, that's it. That is all you need to know. Now, if you go up and see everything that I have listed down, your mindset, value oriented. You know project concepts, project charter, development approach. The backbone of PMP is development approach. All about the team, all about agile, processes for all these things that I have mentioned. There will be some documents that you will be creating throughout these steps. Monitoring, information radiators, and the basic process flow video that is already published on my YouTube channel. Right? There's a quick checklist. Whenever you study, put a tick mark against all these things when you know that. I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.